Good evening again, everyone. I just am curious to start off with this. How many of you participated? Was it 2 years ago when you tried one of these workshops or symposiums? Just show of hands. How many of you? So in fact, we have a lot of first-timers who weren't at the program a year ago, or 2 years ago, which, by the way, was a very exciting evening as well. I wanted to thank Mara. I want to thank Dennis for the collaboration to put this together. It's excellent that we see this kind of cooperation in our watersheds, particularly one that's so important as the Wissahickon watershed in our region. I'd like to thank Lindsay as well, just for a great job of pulling a lot of cats together, because when you're dealing with a group like this, not that you're difficult, folks, but a busy group like this, it's hard to get us all to focus, and she's done a great job and a charming job of bringing us all together. Let me just say that we're going to approach this program with perhaps a little bit of the depressing realities of the Wissahickon as a kicker. So bear with us, because the real focus of the program is that of solutions, as promised by our two hosts. So we'll end on the solutions point and try to end on that upbeat aspect. And your questions, both to understand better the challenges as well as what you can do, are welcome. And I understand there will be index cards that will be available for you to pen a question or two. And I'm now forgetting where the index cards are supposed to go. Who can tell me
outer
that?
aisles.
Outer aisles.
So when you print your question down,
Here we go. Good, Laura. Just get it.
when you print your question down, if you would like to pass it over, just raise your hand. A volunteer will come along the outer aisle. You can pass it along and they'll collect it. We'll be asking questions at the end of the program, and we did it this way so that if you have a spur of the moment question that might sort of slip your mind later, we can get to it in a more orderly fashion. Pencils and pens, Lindsay?
I think everyone got a pencil and a note card as they came in.
Excellent. Okay.
That's wonderful. All right. Let me just mention, and confirm, as Dennis already has, this initiative, there is an initiative underway that includes the Wissahickon watershed, that is a component of the Delaware River Watershed Strategic Program, and it's been funded by our region's leading environmental foundation funder, the William Penn Foundation. And so I think that our collaboration is in part related to that. Now, naturally, we were here 2 years ago before that funding, but it bears mentioning that there's a tremendous amount of investment going on, both through the Water Department of the City of Philadelphia, the William Penn Foundation, and the local municipalities in this watershed, as well as the many NGO groups, to improve this watershed. So I just want to acknowledge that right up front. And it's important to recognize that Wissahickon is truly an iconic watershed for our region. You all know that. I'm always impressed that it was the first national natural landmark. When the program was created, the Wissahickon was put in the program in 1964. So at our last meeting in 2012, that's 3 years ago, we focused a lot on the bad news. Although we have a beautiful stream, the water from our creek contributes drinking water supply to about 350,000 Philadelphians. At the same time, the Wissahickon is a seriously environmentally challenged system. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the worst, the Wissahickon is in category 5 in Pennsylvania's listings of streams. While this watershed was truly a leader early on in the protection and conservation efforts, in part initiated by the Fairmount Park Initiative to protect lands, watershed lands in the city of Philadelphia. That work went well beyond the boundaries of Philadelphia, beyond into the county. I've learned recently just how that actually led to the creation of Fort Washington State Park, among other things. So there's been just a history, a rich history of government and then private initiative through the various organizations like the Wissahickon Valley Watershed Association. All that said, the current unstable physical and ecological state of the creek and watershed is as a result of more than a century of heavy development, and it's going to take a lot of effort and work to reverse all of that impact. So, to better understand the impact and then to focus on solutions, I'm going to introduce our panelists who are going to take it from here. And these are in your little pamphlet, right? So you can actually see these. I'm going to keep these kind of short, maybe cut a few of these lines out as I go. We're going to kick off with Sarah Marley, who's the outreach manager at the Friends of the Wissahickon, who works to educate and motivate communities to improve water quality in the creek. We're going to follow that with Chris Crockett, who's the Deputy Commissioner of Planning and Environmental Services at the Philadelphia Water Department, with more than 18 years of experience in this industry and focused on these resources. And as a PWD customer, I'm just so glad to have folks like Chris taking care of my water that I have to drink every day. Thank you, Chris. We'll go back to focusing on the water quality aspects outside the city with Stephanie Frigari, who is the Water Quality Program Manager at the Wissahickon Valley Watershed Association, who runs the water quality program in there with 7 years of research and field experience. And then we'll bring it home in terms of the problems and with Jeff Featherstone, who's Director of the Center for Sustainable Communities and a professor at Temple's Department of Communities Regional Planning. And then on to some important legal action that has a real significant impact moving forward with Michael Helbing, who is staff attorney at Penn Future. His practice focuses primarily on water quality protection and stormwater management issues.